In the shadow of a war that has gripped the world's attention for over 2 years, a fresh chapter has begun, and it's brutal. Russia has once again delivered a thunderous message, this time aimed directly at Ukraine's future military strength. Vladimir Putin has launched a new wave of calculated strikes, not on the front lines, but on the very foundation of Ukraine's fighting spirit, its recruitment and training centers. The message: you cannot rebuild what I am ready to destroy before it begins. This isn't just another assault. It's psychological warfare, political posturing, and a brutal tactical move all in one. And tonight we break it all down. Main body: over the past 48 hours, Russian missile and drone attacks have devastated Ukrainian recruitment hubs across Kharkiv, Dnipro, and Zaporizhia. These weren't random targets. They were chosen with precision to dismantle Ukraine's efforts to form a new, modernized army with NATO-style command structures and fresh mobilizations planned for the summer. Russia's ruthless strike on Kharkiv, crushing Ukraine's future before it begins. One of the most devastating blows in the ongoing Russia-Ukraine conflict came not on the front lines, but far behind them, in the heart of Kharkiv. A new military academy recently established to train over 5,000 Ukrainian recruits in modern NATO-style tactics was reduced to rubble in a matter of seconds. Russian cruise missiles, launched with precision and intent, slammed into the compound during the early hours of the morning, killing at least 27 young men and injuring dozens more. Most of the casualties were new recruits, teenagers and young adults, many of whom had not even completed their first week of training. This was not just an attack on a building. It was an attack on Ukraine's vision for a stronger, better equipped Western integrated army. This was a deliberate move aimed at dismantling hope, destroying potential, and sending a loud, chilling message to Kyiv and its allies. You can train them, you can fund them, but we will destroy them before they are ready to fight. The academy in Kharkiv symbolized a new beginning for Ukraine's armed forces. After 2 years of relentless warfare, exhaustion, and dwindling manpower, Ukraine had begun to rebuild its military infrastructure. This included a strategy to train soldiers under NATO guidance, with plans to instill Western doctrines, rapid response capabilities, and advanced battlefield coordination. Many of these soldiers had been selected for specialized training programs, some scheduled to be deployed with new US and European provided equipment later this year. But Russia's strike was calculated to shatter that vision before it took form. The timing was particularly brutal, launched while most of the recruits were asleep in their dormitories. These weren't soldiers in combat. They were trainees in their beds, many of whom had never even held a rifle in the field. The attack wasn't about battlefield dominance. It was psychological warfare. It was terror. Witnesses described the scene as apocalyptic: buildings torn apart, fires raging, screams echoing in the darkness. Rescue efforts were hampered by ongoing drone surveillance in the area, indicating that Russia was watching not just the destruction, but the aftermath. These strikes, confirmed by both Ukrainian military sources and Russian state media, reveal a chilling new strategy from Moscow targeting the foundation of Ukraine's defense. Not just the army that exists, but the one that's still being born. Russia's hybrid warfare, the battle beyond the battlefield. But there's more. What Russia is doing goes far beyond destroying buildings and recruitment centers. This is not a conventional war anymore. It's a hybrid war fought on every front: physical, psychological, digital, and even spiritual. While the missiles reduce Ukraine's training facilities to rubble, an equally dangerous assault is happening in the minds and hearts of Ukrainians and the world. Russia has launched a brutal information war, running parallel with its physical attacks on platforms like Telegram, VK, and even Western social networks. Russian linked accounts have flooded timelines with curated footage of obliterated training centers. These aren't raw clips, they are carefully edited to demoralize, framed to show helplessness and defeat. Drones don't just capture strike footage anymore, they document it in HD, and it's distributed within hours, often with chilling background music and captions in multiple languages. These videos don't simply inform, they are meant to intimidate. The scenes are devastating: charred helmets lying in ashes, blown apart bunkers, young recruits running in panic as explosions shatter their hopes of becoming defenders of their homeland. In one viral clip, a young Ukrainian recruit is seen being pulled from the rubble with blood across his face, whispering, "I never made it to training." That clip alone has been shared tens of thousands of times on Russian linked accounts, often with captions like "NATO's dream dies young" or "America's soldiers, Ukraine's graves." Then come the voice notes, doctored or real, but devastating all the same, allegedly from Russian soldiers reporting in, saying things like "another camp neutralized." These kids never saw it coming. Some of these audio messages are AI, generated to sound authentic, and they're seeded in Ukrainian social channels, creating confusion and panic among civilians and volunteers alike. The goal is clear: to instill fear in anyone considering joining the new Ukrainian defense efforts, to make the idea of mobilization synonymous with martyrdom. But it doesn't stop there. Russian cyber units have reportedly targeted Ukrainian military databases and administrative systems tied to recruitment, leaking information online and warning would-be soldiers that you're being watched. Some Ukrainian men, already reluctant due to war fatigue, are now deleting their social media accounts, avoiding public movement, and refraining from registering with enlistment centers, fearing they'll be targeted next. Russia's goal is to make fear the biggest recruiter, one that works for them, not Ukraine. This entire framework is part of what Russian commanders are now calling victory through paralysis. It's a doctrine rooted in the belief that modern war isn't just about controlling land, it's about controlling perception. It's about making your enemy too afraid to fight, too broken to rebuild, and too overwhelmed to believe in victory. This is psychological warfare at a national scale, one that sows division, discouragement, and deep internal erosion. Ukraine's response has been desperate but urgent. President Volodymyr Zelensky has gone on record calling this new wave of attacks or direct assault on our future fighters, stressing the need for immediate upgrades to Ukraine's air defense grid. However, delays in Western support, particularly from the United States, due to political gridlock in Congress, have slowed the arrival of promised systems like Patriot batteries and long-range interceptors. Several defense packages remain stuck in negotiation, leaving Ukraine exposed. And Russia knows this. They time their attacks around Western hesitation. They escalate when they sense indecision. Moscow is playing a long game, and part of that strategy is leveraging the West's political fatigue and internal division. Every delayed delivery of ammunition, every postponed military aid vote in the US Senate is seen by the Kremlin as a green light to strike harder and deeper. Russia's propaganda machine has also taken aim at Western audiences. Narratives like "Ukraine is already lost" or "Why should America fund a losing war" have become common themes on certain corners of social media, some amplified by bots, others by influencers unknowingly echoing Kremlin talking points. These narratives are dangerous not because they're true, but because they sound like they might be. And in war, perception can often become more powerful than reality. Inside Ukraine, the psychological toll is mounting. Families now think twice before allowing sons and brothers to enlist. Community recruitment drives have seen drops. Reports from regional offices show enlistment inquiries falling by as much as 30% in certain areas. Even among those who do join, morale is shaken. They no longer fear only the front, they fear being targeted before the front. The battlefield is no longer a line drawn in the east, it's every barrack, every training base, every step of preparation. And so, while Ukraine tries to stand up a new army, Russia is tearing it down before it ever marches. Not just with firepower, but with fear, manipulation, and a deeply calculated strategy to destroy from within. This is the new face of war, where a soldier's uniform is no longer the starting point, but the finish line. And Russia's goal is to make sure many never even get there. What we are witnessing is not just another phase in the Russia-Ukraine war. It's an evolution. Putin is no longer content to fight the army that exists. He is now hunting the army that hasn't yet risen. This is deep war, targeting morale, strategy, and the hope of future defense. For Ukraine, the stakes couldn't be higher. This is a race to protect the very lifeblood of its military, the young recruits who have answered the call. For Russia, it's a chance to prove that no amount of Western support can rebuild faster than Russia can destroy. As the world watches, one question remains: can Ukraine survive the crushing weight of Russia's new war doctrine? Or will Putin succeed in breaking the spirit before the soldiers ever step onto the battlefield? This war is not over, it's transforming, and the next move could rewrite the entire outcome.